Hi, my dearest friends. I'm very happy to be here with you again. This is Vasilina Orlova, and I'm doing my practicum in mental health counseling, and I'm standing at the threshold of embarking on my internship. Technically, there are no differences between practicum and internship except for the number of hours, direct hours that you have to make. In internship, it's a little more. And I'm turning on this recorder to reflect on my experiences in practicum, and in particular, uh, sort out with myself and with you present the thoughts that I have about couples counseling, because I am seeing couples and I will be seeing couples as a therapist, as a mental health counselor. I'm not going to specialize on that, but currently you can, as a counselor, to be seeing couples. And I've did quite a number of trainings, and I took this course about marriage and couple counseling and family counseling. And I want to just record this video reflecting on what are some things that I learned and what are some of the approaches that I would use as a couples therapist. So the first thing I think is important when you are counseling a couple is to establish a therapeutic relationship with them, a counseling relationship, a therapeutic alliance, so that everybody feels like they can trust you as a counselor. And if one person is falling away from that alliance, it's much harder, of course, for the counselor to be doing that, much less if two people are falling away. And couples therapy, I feel, is more challenging than individual therapy. Some researchers call it a three-body problem, when there are three bodies in the room and you can't really do an individual counseling with each member of the couple because the other one is right here. And, we all have different feelings and the way we perceive things differently. So if one member of the couple, for example, is sharing the emotions, it can complicate the situation for the couple's relationship, because the other partner, for instance, could perceive it as something offensive or something that they don't like to hear. So that happens in couples therapies. And when the couple is in the room, I feel like there is a lot of potential for misunderstanding. There is a lot of energy in the room, and um, there is a lot of tension potentially, right? Everybody has their own perceptions. So one way therapists have been working with that is that they would make the couple essentially talk not to the therapist, but to each other. Talk to each other, communicate with each other, with therapists kind of being there as some sort of safety net, who is able to send the couple in a timeout if the couple is getting very heated in the argument, or the couple is, for instance, is having a hard time regulating the emotions, right? So in this case, the role of the psychotherapist in the room is to steer the conversation into a safe, normal, kind of regulated, well-regulated, even space. And for that, of course, you need each member of the couple trusting you. It can be very difficult if mm, there is a history that includes, for instance, infidelity, episodes of physical violence within the couple, or episodes of trauma that is coming from one or two members of the couple, and it's not easy to navigate the situation, right? So the role of the counselor in this case is to teach, to to provide the psychoeducation for healthy and balanced communication between the couple, for the ability to voice their concerns in a way that that's not triggering some sort of reaction within the other member of the couple, which is, difficult sometimes. So one way therapists are doing that, I learned, is they're proposing the formula such as when you do blank, that makes me feel blank. So instead of generalizing like, oh, you always are like that, or you haven't done that never for me, or, you know, offending somebody, right? Name calling and so on and so on. You can return it to yourself and sort of speak from your own experiences, speak from the you perspective, from the I perspective in this case, right? And be objective. So, for example, when you are saying that you can't take the trash out, I feel like um, I'm being neglected because you renege on your obligation to take the trash out, right? For example, something like that. So this part points exactly what to do to amend the situation. You probably have to take the trash out, and it does not put too much weight on the other member of the couple by presuming the intentions. So perhaps the person forgot to take the trash out or something like that. They're definitely or most probably not doing that on purpose. They're not trying to offend you by not doing that. So you are kind of pointing it out to them how it makes you feel and how things make us feel is really more about us than about other people. You know, perhaps some people would be able to brush off even extremely offensive instances, right? Or what we would consider intensely offensive, right? Or they just would not take it personally. They are just not going to take it as something is wrong with them and things like that. So we want ideally to achieve this sense of security, and therefore we have to focus on what we perceive and what we feel, and also to point out exactly what triggers that response in us, whether it's a behavior of somebody, their words or actions, things like that. So that's one of the tricks that they are using, therapists using for couples. And another point I wanted to make, which I thought was very interesting, is that counselors, therapists have to have a secret policy. So what is that about? In the place where I'm practicing, where I'm a student counselor, they have a policy of no secrets, which means that if one member of the couple discloses something to you as a counselor, you are not obligated to keep it secret. You have to work with a member of the couple on how and in what ways and under which circumstances and under which condition you do disclose that secret to the other member of the couple. Now, that is put in writing, and I think that it is also necessary to go over it orally because not everybody is reading these agreements before they sign them. So some things counselors do highlight usually, and a secret policy is something that they have to highlight. Because, for instance, one member of the couple discloses the infidelity to a counselor, right? The instance of infidelity of which the other member of the couple has no idea. Well, in that case, when this instance of infidelity, and if this instance of infidelity resurfaces in the conversation, the other member of the couple will feel not only that their partner is deceiving them, but also that the counselor deceived them by not telling. Like you've known it for a while and you wouldn't tell me. Well, that is detrimental for the trust that is detrimental potentially to the counseling relationship. So in the training that I took, the professional counselors who have a lot of experiences advise in case when such a secret became known and for whatever reason the secret policy was not agreed upon beforehand, to refer the couple out. And this referring out to a different counselor would have had to be made with under, I guess, some other pretense, for example, under the pretense that we've reached the limits of one's competency or whatever, like you have to go to this other person, right? If that happens according to the ethics of the counseling profession. So that is a very interesting idea, not keeping secrets. And some counselors do implement a different approach in which they say, you have the right to tell me any secret and I will keep it. However, I'm thinking that it's probably doable when you have one or two couples among your clients, but if you have 10, you'll have a much harder track to just keep the track who is telling you what. And you can also divulge the secret inadvertently without intent to do so. So that is something we want to avoid potentially, and this is why my place in particular employs the no secret policy. So another fascinating idea that I've encountered is that couples need a structure in their counseling sessions, because if there is no structure, then it can go in a million of different directions. And some of these directions are going to be fraught with a lot of pointless arguing that is damaging, and bickering, which is like the petty arguments that are really not moving the couple towards their counseling goals. And one structure I encountered in one of those trainings I've made, and I'll probably list those trainings in the description of that video, was that you can offer them 3 questions to identify an enjoyable moment that they had together throughout that week that you didn't see them. In that way, instead of focusing on negative experiences together, which they can work separately on in the individual counseling, you can actually work on what brings the couple together and what really makes them a couple, and kind of highlight and bring that experience of joy together, of understanding each other, and reinforce that ability to connect, right? So that is the first question to ask: enjoyable moment with each other during the week. The second question that was proposed in that particular framework is whether there are any significant life changes. And that is asked so that there is no surprise by the end of the session when somebody is dropping the bomb on you, the way therapists frame it. Like when there is a significant disclosure that is made at the end of the session and 5 minutes is left until the end of the session, and there is really not much to do about that. And finally, the third question that this particular frame proposes is the question if anybody of the couple has an agenda for the session. And I think for this kind of questions, you probably need to have a set of agreed upon goals in counseling and the treatment plans, how you want to get to those goals. And this is not necessarily something that would preclude people from dropping out prematurely, for example, right, for terminating the relationship. And in couples counseling, the dropout rates are apparently higher than with individual counseling. But still, you want to have this structure that hopefully people are really invested in working on. And there are, of course, the situation when one member of the couple is really less invested than the other. Yeah, so these are the three fascinating things that I wanted to highlight for my recent training. Couples need to speak to each other, not to the therapist. You have to have a secret policy, and you have these three magic questions about enjoyable moments, significant life changes, and agenda for the session that will hopefully move you further along the lines and will be enabling you to kind of really help that couple. So I'm hoping you're having a great day. I am hoping to see you next week, and I am wishing you all the best.